Alright, here's another one from my childhood, and yes, this is one I reviewed already, but as I established, where I'm going with these videos, I can afford to do overlaps. I'm going to be talking more about my personal experience with this game. And yes, the LucasArts logo is dancing, and actually, yeah, everyone is kind of dancing. Factor 5 was weird. And I mean really weird. This cracked me up when I was little because it just threw me completely off guard. How I miss you! But yeah, this was one of the first games I got for the GameCube. Actually, it was the first. It was probably the game I wanted the most for the GameCube because back in 2003, I still really wanted a GameCube. I still didn't have one yet because I really had to earn everything I got, and that's a policy I still kind of go by. Um, However, now it's more self-enforced, when back then it was my parents. But nonetheless, I had a Game Boy Advance at the time, so my parents brought me to my mom brought me to Circuit City, and I was looking at the Game Boy Advance games, and I see the GameCube demo machine, and I see that has a Star Wars game on it, and I was really, really into Star Wars. I still am, but yeah. Um, and it had the playable version of the Battlefield Hoth stage, and it just blew my mind. And I wanted the game desperately since, and so even though I didn't have a GameCube yet, I started saving my money for it, and then when I finally got one, I didn't have one on Christmas Day, and I didn't get I got a GameCube that Christmas, and I didn't have this game. So I continued to save money, and my mom took me to GameStop, and however, she didn't want me having rated T games or anything above E, but she didn't know that this game was rated T. So I covered the rating with my thumb, and then she didn't notice. She let me have it, and she didn't notice until we got in the car, and it was hilarious looking back. I was a malicious little third grader. But yeah, I have to say, going on about the game, talking about the game itself. It's really one of the most immersive games I've played. In fact, I actually didn't know that this was a Rogue Squadron game at the time. I didn't know this had any relation to the first game I'd ever played. So yeah, I actually erased my data recently because when I was a kid, I found this game to be really difficult. And at one point, I just used a cheat code. I remember I beat Founder Shipyard Assault on my own. I beat Spearbike Assault on my own. I did not complete Trials of a Jedi and Triumph of the Rebellion, however. These two levels I was stuck on, so I used a cheat code, and yeah, so I decided to erase my data and start from scratch, just play the game normally. Yeah. So that's why I don't have as many ships. But yeah, there's a lot of unlockable ships, actually. And I just like how you could just explore around the hangar. This game really just made you feel like you were part of the Rebel Alliance. I mean, all of the Rogue Squad games do that, but I consider them to be just some of the most immersive games ever. Even playing them now, almost 17, and this still just captures my imagination. And yeah, I mean, for 2003, these graphics were incredible. I can't think of anything else that compared to this at the time. Well, aside from Rogue Leader. And what's cool is that you could just walk up to the models and look at the And they still look good when you look at them up close. It's really quite amazing. And it looks really good when you have it up on an HD TV. But yeah, these were really freaking good graphics for the time. In fact, I'd argue that the game still looks good. And something else I like that kind of adds to the immersion factor is that you don't have anyone just shouting at you, "Do a barrel roll! To do a barrel roll, press Z or R twice." No. Yeah, other people talk to you, but they never say, "Press the A button," or anything like that. They tell you what you have to do next, but it all feels like it just clicks together. It feels more natural. I mean, when you're let's say you're in an airplane, your wingman doesn't say, "Quick, hold the Z button to do a roll." No, like they... Yeah. Something else I really liked about this game is you had the ability to control your wingmates. And of course, Rogue Leader introduced this. But I think this one did it better. Mostly because in Rogue Leader, the wingmen wouldn't stop asking you, "What are your orders? What are your orders?" every 5 seconds. Which got annoying after a while. This one, they don't ask you anywhere near as much. For those who don't know, that was indeed Robin Atkindonis. I don't know if I pronounced his last name right, but yeah. Really good actor, actually. He also did the medic from Team Fortress 2, Roan from Lair, and Gavin Sykes from Battle for Naboo. He's really freaking good. But yeah, something else I like about this game is Factor 5 has the ability to just come up with all of these cool new ships that weren't in the movies. And the ships they came up with just fit in the Star Wars universe. But of course, this game has its own atmosphere. It feels original. It doesn't rely on the movies that much. And of course, something this game has that all the other Rogue Squadron games don't is ground missions. That not ground vehicle missions because Battle for Naboo had that. But yeah, and a lot of people just hate these ground missions, and just complain about them constantly. You don't want to know how many people I've heard go, "Oh, it's so badly programmed," when you clearly know nothing about programming, people. Oh man, I mean, this is programmed well, but it is admittedly a little bit awkward, mostly because of the crosshair. You automatically lock on to people, and yeah, you automatically lock on, and yeah, it's as simple as that. And you don't always lock on to what you want. But it's as simple as pressing the A button. Just press the A button and they all die. You really can't... It's really something stupid to be really picky about, like saying it's just that ruins the whole game when you could get by it really easily. It's not the best system, but it functions. And quite frankly, I think it works better than if you just had free range, because then your shot accuracy would probably be really low. There's a boss fight at the end of the stage, and you hop into a Jedi starfighter and fight more escort carriers. The ending of the stage is really cool, but I want to get onto a different mission just to show you guys a little bit more of how the game works. Mission failed. Dramatic music by Chris Hulsbeck. I'd actually have to argue that this is one of Chris Hulsbeck's better soundtracks, actually. Well, speaking of Hulsbeck, I am so excited for the Turrican soundtrack anthology. But that's aside from the point. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
This stage, well, at least these sections of the stage, I can't help but think of some of the Mode 7 stages from Super Turrican 2. I mean, it looks really similar with the beams going across, having to dodge them. In fact, the A-Wing looks kind of like it somewhat resembles what Bren, the motorbike, the flying speeder bike, looks like. Yeah, this isn't as long, though.
Picking up fighters on my scope. They're not like anything I've seen before. Those must be the new TIE hunters. Be careful, they're deadly. Understood. They've activated some sort of force field. I'm trapped. Wedge, we can't reach you. You're on your own.
This part drove me crazy when I was a kid, but yeah. I have a lot of fun with this level. It's almost been 10 years. It's been a little under 9, actually. And quite frankly, this is still, and I know it won't stay like this, but I'd say that this is definitely one of the best looking games on a Nintendo console. It looks better than a lot of games on the Wii. I mean, and by that I mean like 95 or 98% of them. Actually, that brings up another thing. When this generation came around, when the Xbox 360 and all of the new consoles started coming out, and people started bragging about the graphics, and I'm like, really? That doesn't look that much better than Rebel Strike. And remember back in the day, everyone was saying, "Oh, the GameCube has terrible graphics," and then this looked on par with what they were releasing in like 2006 and 2007 on the next-gen consoles, which I thought was really cool that it held up that well. Okay, now I need to just get this one last freaking TIE hunter. Of course, this isn't the best example of that since we're in this sphere force field thing, but get to an actual environment soon enough.
And the force field has been deactivated. Good shooting, Wedge. Travel through the second tunnel and locate the facility. Almost there. I'm almost at the end.
That was close. Wow. You can even see the debris.
There's no facility. Strange. Is there anything there at all? All I can see is an Imperial supply convoy.
I wonder if that actually counted as a life. That was awesome.
Wedge, you've done your job. Return here to the fleet for regroup.
I'm going to skip that last part, because here's where things get really cool. Yes, this is all done in real time, too. These are all the actual models.
We're taking heavy fire so we can enter hyperspace. We'll have more intel on what you're dealing with shortly.
No full motion video in this game. But, well, actually, that's not entirely true. But because there's some clips from the movies occasionally. But
I'm showing shields around those relay dishes.
But pretty much all outside of just clips of the movies, all of the cutscenes are done in real time and look really impressive at times. I mean, again, this was the freaking GameCube. Everyone was saying like how bad the graphics were. And really, I don't think the comparisons were that fair. I mean, you don't really compare Halo to Animal Crossing. You compare the games that take advantage of each console. Yeah, I think this is just one of the best looking games for the time. And some of the fire effects too were really cool.
This is General Navy. That super laser is too accurate. We're sustaining massive damage up here. That's all of them. Great work, Rose. We're taking less hits from that super laser now.
This kind of continues in the next mission, but I won't go on into that. But overall, this is a really, really good game. I would definitely recommend it for just any GameCube owner, really. Or if you have a Wii, yeah, it's just one of those really good games. Actually, there's something interesting in this stage. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there's one thing that is actually really interesting if you know the background to it. Because at the same time, Factor 5 was trying to make a 3D Turrican successor. And actually, the bridge is in this level. It's the bridge from the Tornado demo. They were making Tornado, which was a 3D successor to Turrican, and it was never released. And this game has art assets from Tornado.
We can't escape with those Imperials here. We created a bomb for you to use. Fly down and fire up your token. Copy that. Get ready with that tow cable.
There's multiple bridges here. I'm going to take out this one. Is there an AT-AT on it? Oh yeah. Haha, that is awesome. But yeah. So that's it. That's basically what my personal experience was like with Rebel Strike. Of course, I could go into the Tatooine training and some of the nostalgia I have for the Beggar's Canyon race and all of the other stages, really. But I think I've covered enough. It's been like, 20 minutes. So, yeah. I'll see you next time.